Hi there YouTube viewers. Today I'm working on the second part of my video of the 1999 Citroen Saxo. In the first video I explained everything about it. I said that I could not find a single video on replacing it. I even tried Peugeot 106 and they had nothing because I have a plate in front of all of this and it's a different design. So I put this on for any person that has a Citroen Saxo that has the same rear brake drum system. Now in the first part you saw me taking off the brake shoes. Now I've thrown them both away now because I've completed it. As you can see, everything on them is now on this. Maybe a few things less because of the spring that's got to be on later. But as you can see, I've got the spring here holding this plate onto both of them. Now I should have shown you this first, but to be quite honest, I couldn't get the brake cable on, so that's what slowed me down, that's what's cut it out of the video. Basically, what you want to do is you want to basically have your brake cable side, that would normally go on the rear of the drum, and you want to put this plate and get it ready, just to make sure it fits correctly. You want to put this spring into the plate, into this drum first. You then want to put the other side of this spring into the plate, and then literally just pull it and let it fly back in. That is as simple as it is. Once you have done that, these two sides will almost be connected. You want to pull the self-adjuster all the way to the middle of these brake drums. So it's almost to the middle, so it's still on this self-adjuster at the bottom here, and you want to then slot this part, because there's a locking point, into the back of the plate. Once you've got it into the back of the plate of the shoe, push this all the way back. There should be a little marker, put it all the way back and put it just a tiny bit forward, again just inward, just so you can hear a click, and that should be it locked. Then what you want to do is you then want to simply, which is very simple, put that side of the spring in, put that in, push it in, you should hear a click, and then that's in. Check on the other side to make it sure that it is in, and that is it. That's how far I've got. Now I did have a different video, but I had to cut it because the brake cable here was not going in because of a spring. Now sometimes it does happen, sometimes it gets stuck. Basically, I haven't got the best tools as I showed in the first video, but I've now only got 4 tools that I'm working with, hopefully. I basically use that to clamp down the actual brake line itself, and I use this to clamp down the spring as far back as I need it, and slotted it into the holding position. Now this is where I am now. Now, as you can see by here, I have fitted a new piston cylinder. The point being of this is because the other side was leaking. Now luckily, this is what you should do. Normally you would buy cylinders at the same time. I didn't think I had to until I saw it leaking. Now, if one side is going, then the other side is not far off at all. It would normally be maybe a couple miles, maybe a couple hundred, I'm not sure, but it will be on its way out. So I've replaced both of them with my dad, because I am literally only 16 and I'm starting to learn about this. But I am quite good at these rear drums now. As you can see, it's like that. There are 2 lines. There is the pipeline for the brake fluid. Do not touch that. Once that is in, don't touch that. And then the same goes for the bleed screw. Do not touch that until later on, where I will show you. Now as you can see, these shoes are now fully together. They are on the brake cable. And all we now need to do is literally put everything back on. Now the spring at the bottom here may not go on, but I'm hoping it does. Now simply all you need to do is pull this out so you get a bit of a cable through, and you just want to basically push this onto the top if you can. Some people can do it, some people can't. There, that's it. So I am now on. Then what you want to do you just want to do that, pull that all the way back, and that's it. That is now your brake shoes on there. Now, as you probably can't see this, I'll try and move my light if it will release. You can see sometimes that this is not dead center. That should be there, which will be held on by these back plate locking springs. But you need to make sure that they are near enough dead center of these pistons. Otherwise, if they slip, that's it, game over for you. So, what you then want to do is you then want to take this spring, which should be at the bottom. Now, a lot of people have trouble. Some people put these on the wrong way. The correct way, as I have found out for myself and created a little way to help myself, it is this hole here and this hole here. If you use this first far back plate hole, wrong. You want to use this inside big hole that looks like a bit like a triangle, and you want to use the opposite side hole as well. Now, little tip, there is a short distance away from this, which means that is the short side of this spring. That is a long way away from that, so that would be the long way away from the spring. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm simply going to try and place this here, which may or may not work. I might have to move the video camera, which has normally been quite still. I'll try and am, so excuse me for a second. Sorry about the movement. Now, you probably won't be able to see much of what I'm about to do, but it should give you a little bit of a view, if anything. Nice shoes, aren't they? Like I said, I've just tried to clamp my brake cable in, so you want to retighten your... I'm retightening this just so it has enough grip, as it does now, hopefully. Basically what you want to do is just get this to the very edge, if you can, of there. Clamp, and basically you just want to try and push or pull, or whichever direction you're going in, to the other side. Now, sometimes this comes out a little bit, sometimes it doesn't. Now, as you can see, I was shaking then, and that's it. That took quite a lot of strength out of me, but no bother. Now, as you can see by here, as I will now put you back onto my little stand, so excuse me for a second. As you can see now, you're back onto here, so you can basically see everything. I'll just sorry about that. That's basically everything in there now. That is now fully on and ready to go. Right? Now, I can see at the bottom over here that these top points should be dead level, so they are level in there. Now, as you can see, look, I've got so much wiggle room that I'm not going to be able to do anything. Simple. What I do now is I take my back plate locking springs that I showed you just a moment ago, and you're basically going to place them in these holes. Now, as you can see here, the self-adjuster has taken up around 2/3 of it. Now, hopefully this shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully the pin should just slot straight through there, and then that's it. That should hopefully work, and then when that self-adjusts, that will move itself back so it's a perfect position. This side should be a lot better though, so we'll start with that side. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the hole at the back by just running your finger, placing it in there, and as you can see, hopefully, that little thing wiggling is that. My advice to you, turn it so that it is straight upward, makes it so much easier sometimes. And then what you want to do, excuse me for 1 second, what I showed you earlier, I think, can't remember, it might have been in the previous episode. is this, is brake grease. Now the brake grease is better than copperies or anything like that because it continuously greases up. It does never run out. Now what I suggest is you put a little round here, if it comes out. Which mine has. You then want to place the spring on top. And basically what I do is I've got these little pliers, right? And basically I'm going to let go of that for a second. I'm going to line up head and bottom so they are exactly the same as the plate, which is now in there. So that is now straight up, as you can probably see. So hopefully when I put this on, this should just simply be a simple clamp on and turn. Sometimes it needs a little bit more judgment. This one does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally just grab it and put it as far out as I can while clamping, which I've now done. So as you can see, that is 90 degrees. Hang on. That is now 90 degrees and that is now tight on, right? So now what you do is the exact same for the other side. Now, like I said before, this other side is a little bit of a pain. So what you have to do is you literally do the exact same again, but this time, instead of forcing it past there, try and edge it past there. So as you can see, mine's gone in the wrong position. So I have to take that out again and try again. Now I knew some people that had done this so many times, but were still getting it wrong. As you can see, that has come through nice and tight. And I'm basically going to do the exact same again. So I'm going to get my brake greaser out. I'm going to put a little dabble all around it just in case the spring decides it's going to move at some point. There we go. I'm going to put the spring back on top, and I would normally just let that go, but because I'm holding this in, which it should hold for a second, hopefully, I'm literally praying, because if that falls out, I could lose everything. Now, just going to do the exact same again. So, like again, that is now pointing straight up. And there. That is it. That is now fully on. They are both completely pressed. And I am now complete with that. And that would be it. Now, when you have new cylinders, you need to bleed them. Now, I will show you how to bleed them. What I'm doing is, at a later date, I will be draining the entire brake fluid system. But for now, I'll show you how to do that. Literally, when you do get rid of the entire system, it is not really hard, but would advise on it, as this car, as I read, takes a .2 type brake fluid and holds less than half a litre, so it's not very much money, I don't think. I'm just going to move a camera again. Now, probably not going to see anything for a while, so give me a second. Just going to move a few things round. Now, this is going to be hand based. Now, you see this one which looks like it should have something over it, that is what you are going to twist. Now, I can't exactly show you, as I said, because it is in an awkward place and so I can't do anything. But basically, it should be quite a small size. And basically, what you want to do is you want to get fully under the car. You want to get a size 8. And you just want to turn it a little bit, just so you can do it like that. Now, this might take some time. My other side took about a minute. Sometimes it doesn't. And basically all you need to do is you just need to leave everything alone and wait for the brake fluid to catch up again and get rid of all the air. Sometimes you will hear the air movement, but at some point you will see the brake fluid drip out. So just untwist it until you think it's basically at the end, or if you've got the old one, measure it up and see how far you can go out. And like I said, what I'm doing now is I'm literally releasing every single bit of pressure in there. The brake shoe should come together a little bit more. As you can see there, I've got drips, so I'm just going to let that drip for just a second. So now, just going to do that up really quickly. There. Get your size 8 out again. And you're just going to tighten up a tiny little bit. Done. And that is now bled. I hope you have, and what you would do after this is you would put the drum on. I will give it a go. If it does not work, then it just needs a little bit of arrangement. I've bled the cylinder and I've bled the brakes a little bit, so that is one thing they say you should sometimes do. But yeah, I will give it a quick go. If it does not go on, then there are sometimes reasons for it not going on. Like there is one where you would need to bleed the back of it to release some pressure from the pistons. But for now, I will just try putting it on, and if it goes on, happy days. Before you do, this cylinder point here needs to be thoroughly cleaned by anything you can. So, like I said, I've got just a piece of the rag, because they're nice and clean, hasn't been used before, and I'm just going to use these to get rid of all of the excess dirt, get rid of it out of them, and done. What you then want to do is you want to then just take a bit of engine oil, just a tiny few drops really, not much at all. You just want to put a couple drops when it decides it wants to come up. And you just want to put a quick smear around this little bearing point. It will take a little bit, 'cause you will find dry spots here and again. So as you can see, I've gone all the way around the bearing. I'm not going into the thread, as that would be quite catastrophic. Same again, put a little bit of dab on your finger and go on the bearing on the inside of the drum. Should already be greased up really, but doing this really gets rid of any muck that might be in there. And basically you just do that again on both sides just to make sure it's nice and clean. Like this side, like this is quite filthy in there, but it will help actually sometimes. Now as you can see, I've done that. Well, you should have heard me. So now they are both oiled up. I will try this. This might not work. This might work. Now as you can hear, that is still catching, which means there is something still there that should be released. So I'm having a quick glance, and there is a big difference somewhere. Sometimes it's easy to spot, sometimes it isn't. But basically sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Right, so as you can see, this one ain't going on. A new brake drum will go on easily, but like I said on the first part, I literally took off all the rust. I gave them some antioxidants for the rust, and I just spray painted them up with some anti-chip and some citroen silver, which is silver quartz, anyone that wants to get some. But as you can see, I can't do anything like that. But before you really put that on, basically what you want to do is you want to put it on just to see if you can get it on. After that, what you want to do is you just want to take your brake cleaner and you just want to simply put some on a rag or something, and you then just want to clean up your brakes, because after all of this work you will get a build-up of oil or rubbish or anything that is on there. So you want to clean it off with some brake cleaner, make sure it's nice and clean, which that one now is. You do the same to the other side. So and basically what this does is it gets rid of any oil, any pieces of dust, any excrement left on it from when it was new, and that brake is now ready to go. When you do get the brake drum on, right, you want to put it on with the old nut first. You want to make sure it's not really touching or anything. You want to then test the handbrake. You want to test the brakes while it's moving, when you spin it, and you want to test the brakes while it's not moving. I would advise you get a friend or a family member to come and help you, because it doesn't take much. Once you've done that, it is complete then. And then all you need to do is, like I said, I'm going to get rid of the brake fluid altogether and put some fresh new one in. So I'll have to test it again. I'll have to test it twice, if that's what you want to do. But that is basically it. Once you have got the brake drum on, you then tighten it up to its specified torque, which I will actually give you if you give me 30 seconds really, as my book should tell me. Like I said, if you have got a book but don't understand, this video is for you. If you do not have the book and you are just looking for a torque wrench, or you're learning how to do it, then this is basically what you need. Now, I can't see it yet, so if you give me just a few seconds longer. Hang on, I'm still on capacities of oil and petrol and all that. There we go. Right, the torque wrench settings, depending on what one you use, depends on everything like that. Now, I am looking for the actual one, but I still can't seem to find it. Now, this is a bit unfortunate because normally you would have that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to drum brakes, which is 9.1 and 9.12 for anyone that has the book for quickness. And here we go. So right, what you want to do is, if you should have two new rear hub nuts and two rear dust covers. The rear hub nut should either be, in your torque wrench setting, 140 Newton meters, or you would have 103 pounds per square foot, if that helps anyone. Yeah, that should be it, because they've got to be extraordinarily tight. I would check online, because there could be another one, but I think that is basically it. And that's it basically. Once you've got the drum on, you put your road wheel back on it once you've got everything tightened up and checked. And basically all you want to do is, if you can drive, you want to take it out for a quick test run. You want to put the brakes on full every so often, so driving at 30 miles an hour. And then that is it basically. Once you've done that, your brakes should be aligned correctly. The self-adjuster will self-adjust itself to the correct point, and that is it. And that is the end of your brake drum problem. Thanks for watching. Please hit a like, and please submit any comments that you think that I should have changed or verified, and I will verify them in another video if I can. Bye.